In our earlier lecture, we have discussed Marxism and culture, which is very important for the students of literature and culture. Now, today we are taking another very important topic for the students of literature and culture, and the topic is postmodernism. Postmodernism is a term used in various discourses. It is used in pop journalism, it is used in Marxist debates and all other kinds of debates. Angela McRobbie finds it in the vocabularies of art histories, political theories, and in youth culture magazines. Dick Havdick says that it is a buzzword. Postmodernism is a buzzword to describe so many things. It is used to describe the decor of a room, design of a building, narrative of a film, a telecommercial, art documentary, etc. So it is used to describe so many things. Postmodernism is used to describe so many things. So we will discuss some trends of postmodernism. But before we understand postmodernism, which is a revolt against more modernism, we have to understand what modernism is. So every new age calls itself modern in relation to the earlier period. So what is new in this modernism? Modernism is regarded as the culture of the capitalist period, the industrial period. It is a break from the earlier period. Modernism is a break from the culture of the earlier period, that is of the feudal period. In the feudal period, agriculture was the mainstay of production. Now that system has changed. Now science has much advanced, so it has given rise to machines, factories, etc. So the system of production has changed. In the field of thinking, in the Darwin's Origin of a Species was published, and it gave a blow to the concept that God was behind all the creation. So it led to a kind of skepticism. The development of science and the new researches gave rise to a new kind of skepticism. The God was earlier at the center of everything, to find out the truths, to test everything. So, but now that is not so. So the skepticism has developed. The mood is elegiac, and a sense of alienation has taken place. alienation among the workers is due to the new developments which in the elaboration of Marxist concepts is the workers' alienation from their products. Earlier, the workers as handicraftsmen, etc., used to produce their own goods and used to sell them in the market for their living, and they own the products. Now the change has taken place. The capitalist employs workers. He owns the machinery. He owns the factory, and a worker produces the goods, but he is not the owner of the goods. The owner of the goods is the capitalist. So worker is alienated from his goods. He is this has led to his alienation from his products. A sense of alienation is there, a sense of exploitation is there among the workers. This has given rise to the organization of the working class, etc., labor movements in the capitalist mode of production. So a demonstration of the workers for their rights took place in the Hyde Park of London. That gave rise to Arnold's the culture and anarchy. He finds that old things, old cultural things were not inspiring society, were not taking society forward. Something new has to be found. He thought that anarchy is taking place everywhere. Everybody wants to do whatever he likes. Everywhere they want to demonstrate, etc. So that's creating anarchy. He thought that something best should be there, some perfection in the things should be there. So his view was that culture is that has been thought best and said in the world. That was a sort of high culture, a striving for the depth was there in that period. Marx has written he analyzed the development of capitalism and produced details of the development of capitalism and the exploitation of the workers, etc. So and a kind of enlightenment was there. So in-depth analysis was there in that period, but the culture was high culture. That was in the period of modernism. This period of modernism, that is of its high its heydays was that of 1910 and up to 1930s. The works of Pablo Picasso, James Joyce, T.S. Eliot, Virginia Woolf, Bertolt Brecht, Igor Stravinsky, etc. Are examples of it. T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland you might have read, and which is sort of skepticism, alienation, all that is visible there. Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, Bertolt Brecht's poems, James Joyce's Ulysses, you might have read. So these are the writers of the modern period. They are regarded belonging to the high culture period. Their culture is regarded as a high culture. So modernism is a revolt against, postmodernism is a revolt against all that was modern culture. Modern culture was high culture, but in the postmodern period, the things have changed, the system has changed, the production system has advanced. The art was now produced in the factories. The sameness was there, same the products, art products were similar to that of the originals. There were so many of them available, and in the this postmodern period, we find that modern lost ability to shock and disturb the middle classes. They were oppositional forces. Earlier they were oppositional forces, but now they are not so. The works of the moderns are now kept in the museums, libraries, and they belong to the academia. They are canonized, so they have become classics. And Frederick Jamieson says that modern movement was formerly oppositional movement. Now it is in the form of classics. It weighs like a nightmare on the brains of living. The position has shifted to those of the classics. The works of moderns have become classics now. They occupy the academia, they have become canon. They are an attenuation of everything shocking, scandalous, ugly, dissonant, immoral, and anti-social. So these are the views of Frederick Jamieson on on modernism, and a revolt is there against modernism in the form of postmodernism. Postmodernism is against cultural elitism of the moderns. Arnold's notion of culture, the best that has been thought and said in the world, is now obsolete. It is not accepted now. It is rejected. Sontag says that the distance between the high and low culture has collapsed. It is now meaningful. it is now less meaningful. The distinction between high and low. Uh, Lawrence Alloway is of the opinion that the area of contact now is the mass produced cultural urban culture. So the products of art are produced in the factories. They are mass produced. The original is not so much important now. It has become a product. The culture is now produced in the factories. Movies, ads, science fiction, popular music, etc. are the areas of contact, according to Lawrence Alloway. Commodity culture is now not disliked, but it is an accepted fact. According to Alloway, distinction between high and low culture has collapsed now. Hussein says that this has collapsed with the distinction between high and low. He is of the opinion that postmodernism first appeared or was shaped in the pop arts. Postmodernism challenged modernism hostility to mass culture. Moderns were against the mass-produced culture. Now, this postmodernism challenges modernism's hostility to mass culture. The high and low distinction has collapsed now. Merging of the popular art and popular music is the first sign of it. They are merged. Popular art and popular music are merged. Examples of merging of popular art and popular music are Peter Blake's the Beatles, Sgt. People's Lonely Hearts Club Band album, Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album, Richard Hamilton's White album, Andy Warhol's The Rolling Stones album, Sticky Fingers. Similarly, emerging seriousness is there. It is most evident in Bob Dylan and the Beatles. It is taken seriously in pop music. So the high and low distinction has collapsed in this period. Another important thing is that the American counter culture is there, which is a closing chapter in the avant-gardism. Hussein is of the opinion that American counterculture is opposed to the war in Vietnam. It supports black rights movements, rejects elitism of the high moderns. It gave birth to the second wave of feminism. American counterculture welcomed gay liberation movement. its celebration of everyday, its psychedelic art, its acid rock, its acid perspectivism. It closes the chapter in the tradition of avant-gardism. So these are some trends in postmodernism, and in our next lecture we will discuss the postmodern critics. So I understand that you may be able to better understand what postmodernism is, and with this we end our this lecture, and in our next lecture we will discuss the postmodern critics. Thank you very much.